Unpacking Adventure, expert travel tips and advice. Hello learners, and welcome to today's exciting lesson. In this video, we will delve into the topic of sharing travel experiences. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the art of sharing travel tips and advice. Traveling can be such an enriching experience, and sharing those experiences, along with the tips and advice you've gleaned, can be incredibly helpful for others planning their journeys. So, let's get started. The first thing we need to learn is how to properly structure our travel tips and advice. You can't just randomly toss information to your listener, it needs to have a certain order and coherence. To start, you can describe the location. Then, you might want to mention the best time to visit. Following that, you can discuss the attractions, local food, and finally, any cultural tips or local etiquette you think will be beneficial. Remember, it's always good to use expressive and descriptive vocabulary to create a vivid image in the listener's mind. In this section, we'll discuss a few phrases or expressions you can use when sharing travel tips and advice. 1. If you ever find yourself in, this is a great way to start sharing your advice. For instance, if you ever find yourself in New York, don't miss the chance to visit the Metropolitan Museum of Art. 2. Make sure to, this phrase can be used to share crucial tips. For example, make sure to try the local food when you're in Italy. 3. It's best to avoid, this phrase is helpful when advising against certain activities. Such as, it's best to avoid the crowded markets during peak hours. 4. Don't forget to, this phrase is perfect for sharing essential reminders. Like, don't forget to pack sunscreen if you're visiting the beach. Now, let's practice sharing travel tips and advice with some examples. Example 1. If you ever find yourself in Tokyo, make sure to visit the cherry blossoms in Ueno Park. The best time to go is in early April when the flowers are in full bloom. Don't forget to try their traditional tea ceremony as well. Example 2. Paris is wonderful in spring. If you're there, make sure to visit the Louvre, but it's best to avoid going on the weekends as it can get extremely crowded. And, of course, don't forget to try a classic French croissant from a local bakery. That's all for today's lesson, my friends. I hope these tips and examples help you confidently share your own travel experiences and advice. Don't forget, the key is to be clear, descriptive, and considerate of your listeners' needs. Happy travels and even happier sharing. We'll meet again in our next video. Keep learning and keep exploring.